Well, so far, Drifters was exactly what I expected, and I mean that in a great way. I mean, this is an untested studio. It's a studio that hasn't done any anime before. This is their first one. But it looked goddamn brilliant. I mean, all the stuff at the beginning of this looked, god, gorgeous. When you had Toyohisa in the Battle of Sekigahara, oh my god, it looked gorgeous. I mean, everybody else was wearing more realistic stuff. Where you had Toyohisa like wearing what essentially looked like a big leather jacket, even though it probably wasn't. It's probably supposed to be armor. But it looks like a big red leather jacket, which I'm not surprised about. I mean, the design very much reminds me of Hellsing, Alucard. Which makes sense, because this is by the same mangaka, the same original creator created both of these shows, both of the ideas. So the fact that there are so many scenes that make Toyohisa look like Alucard doesn't surprise me. But it was so good. I mean, there was a bit of bad CGI right at the beginning, but it was literally only for about 5 seconds while they did a quick panning shot. And from then on, when it went back to traditional 2D, oh man, it's done in such a cool style. I mean, to compare it to anything, I wouldn't even compare it to Hellsing itself. While it's slightly like Hellsing, it reminds me a lot more of Ninja Scroll. And that's ridiculously old. I mean, part of that is because how violent and how much more adult and mature it is than most anime that actually make it to TV. Oh, but it looks just so damn good. The blood is so graphic. The violence is so graphic. I mean, it could have been a lot worse for sure. But this was just the first episode, and damn, in that battle, you just saw so many people being beheaded, being stabbed in the throat. There were moments when you had like a sword getting used like a knife to cut through bits and pieces of one guy. Oh, man. So that was brilliant. That whole opening was incredible and really showed you just how much effort they're going to put into this production, which we definitely needed from a brand new studio. Then the story kicked in and shit got weird. I mean, it was already weird enough having Toyohisa back at the Battle of Sekigahara. That was already just strange to me. The fact that we started there. I mean, all the promotional art that I'd seen for this series, yeah, it looked like a weird fantasy world with a bunch of people in it. I didn't realise they were going to show back in Toyohisa's real life, but they did, and it was cool. And then they went to this new world, and suddenly there were 2 elf children, which was the weirdest thing ever. I mean, that juxtaposition where it was very historical and realistic and gritty and bloody, and then suddenly there are these 2 blonde elf children who were talking a weird other language as well, which I'm really interested to see. Like, they didn't have that subtitled in the Japanese version, I don't think. I mean, it wasn't hard subbed, at least over the episode, so that was nice. We just got our normal subtitles, even though I don't understand what language they were speaking. I'm not sure if it was a real language or if it was just nonsense. But it was nice. It was just a really nice little touch that other people in this world don't speak the same language. And it's going to make me really interested later as well when we have people that aren't from Japan. Are they going to speak Japanese? Because I know there's a bunch of French people that are going to come into this later. Man, I'm just really intensely interested in this one, I guess is what I'm saying. When we had our 3 main drifters meet up, it was so cool. Toyohisa like trying to get his head around the fact that he was speaking to Oda Nobunaga, who had already died 15 years before while he was on Earth. And you know, the Oda clan had already started to fall and just became retainers for the Tokugawas. So he didn't understand what the hell was going on. Yeah, Nobunaga, who was so serious about everything, was such a beast, obviously. Back in his day, he was such a beast until he got betrayed and murdered. And then we also had the 3rd member, Nasu, who looks like a girl, and I very much thought was a girl for a good long time, until we got a few more shots of the dude's chest. Turns out he is a dude, played by a female voice actress, doing a very good job of sounding like a dude. But no, he's super cool. His skills with the bow must be amazing. I mean, we didn't even have to see him fire it in this one, but he was such a beast while he talked to the elf children. Tried to scare the shit out of them, even though, you know, they had no reason to be attacked. They were just trying to help. They basically saved Toyohisa's life, and yet he was still doing the whole, if you do that, I'll kill you. Leave him there and leave, or I'll kill you. Everything ended with, or I'll kill you. Oh man, That was cool, and just the animation effects around him were amazing as well. I mean, they've done a lot of parts where they've just completely shaded a person's face, made it pure blackout with big glowing light up eyes, which is such a cool effect. So yeah, that was brilliant. Having them all talk, having Nasu talk about how he was from 400 years in the past was quite funny. And it was just a fun little moment as well, hearing Toyohisa actually make a joke about how he thought that because he was looking at Nobunaga and there was a guy who looked so much like a girl with Nobunaga, he naturally assumed it was Mori Ranmaru. Which is hilarious. Nobunaga was just like, I wish. Wanting his man husbando to be back. Oh man. So yeah, that was hilarious. A nice little historical joke thrown in there. Also, all the moments when Oda Nobunaga was taking the piss out of where Toyohisa comes from. And even Nasu joined in on that. Talked about how that was still just a little country province while he was around as well. So yeah, I love this. The little historical jokes they're throwing in were amazing. The comedy that they're getting in, despite everything else being so serious, is getting really good. And at the same time, they're clearly setting up for something intense to happen. I mean, they had that group that was spying on the drifters, who seemed to be drifters themselves as well. I mean, they were using magic, but at the same time, definitely when they showed the group, I mean, they showed this guy with like a giant Octoberist sign behind him, so I'm wondering if it's like German or Russian or something. I have no idea where he's from, but then it went through like a whole cast of other characters as well. I saw one holding a Western sword, which I'm liking the look of. I'm really hoping that's going to be Jeanne d'Arc or maybe Gilderay. Either way, oh man, so damn impressed. I'm liking this. It's like a really weird version of Fate Stay Night where they've all been pulled into an alien world with fantasy elements. I mean, there's definitely magic in this world as well as the technology they've brought with them. There's people from all over the timeline in here. They definitely seem to show soldiers at one point, like with guns. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this for sure. It looks like it's going to be crazy and absolutely insane. I'm looking forward to what the drifters managed to do. So yeah, great first episode. Definitely drew me in. Very dark and mature series. I can't wait to see more from it. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this review, wreck that like button like you mean it. Subscribe if you haven't already to see more. And I will see you guys next time.